What kind of AR-15 should I buy? What caliber should I shoot? These are questions that always come into me. I'm Brian with Freedom Tactical. The answer to that question, quick answer, is just buy them all. I own a gun store. I can help you out with everything. There is no really good answer. It depends what you're going to be using it for. If you want to go out and do some plinking, 300 yards and less, you can. There's a perfect bullet for that. If you want to destroy something, there's a perfect bullet for that. If you want to do some hunting, there's a perfect bullet for that. It just all depends on your yardage, your range. If you want long range, short range, speed, if you want an economical way to shoot, if you don't really care and you just want to go out and have some fun. I'm going to start out with a 5.56. It is our cheapest, most common, most popular. This is most popular in both the rifle itself, the AR-15 style rifle, and in ammunition. Problem with that being, it is the most popular in the rifle. So this is what everybody's going to be out looking for when there's a shortage. If you remember a few years ago, there was very, very few 5.56s on the shelf, and if you did find it, it was $1.50 or more per round. One of the things I did, and all my numbers are based on kind of an average, so please don't argue with me. I'm just doing my best here. Is a effective range, and that's a certain velocity at a certain yardage. Once it drops below that, and then I picked drop rate at 400 yards. I picked 400 yards just so you could see kind of what the drop rate was. All of these bullets are capable of making it to 400 yards. The range on this 5.56, 600 yards. It drops 20 inches. The average cost is about $12 a box. The 300 blackout. This is probably the next most popular, and I think what makes it really popular is it has the same size bolt face as the 5.56. So a lot of people that own a 5.56 say, well, I can own a 300 blackout too, just by buying the upper receiver, which is a great way to get into another caliber without having to buy a whole new gun. Its range is 400 yards, and it drops 100 inches at that 400 yards. So it is a heavier, slower moving bullet. It is intended for close range. It was built to be suppressed. So if you want to own a suppressor or thinking about it, you'll love the 300 blackout. Otherwise, I do tend to steer people towards the 5.56. The cost per box average on the 300 blackout is about $18 for some decent ammunition. Next in that category is the 7.62 by 39. These are pretty easy to find. This is common all over the world. These are the most used ammunition in a AK-47. So a frame of thought is that if we were in a combat situation and we were being invaded or whatever, this ammunition might be easier to find. That has a drop rate of 63 inches at 400 yards. So another big heavy bullet. Now I'm going to jump up into a couple different, I kind of categorize these different. These are kind of long range AR-15 bullets. This is the 6.5 Grendel, kind of the best of both worlds. A little expensive to shoot, but a very accurate medium hitting round. This bullet would actually outperform a 308 in the right conditions. A lot of people look at the size of the casing and determine whether or not it's a powerful bullet. The thing you have to remember is it's pressure, not size, that makes the difference. It's not always the amount of powder that's in the shell, it is the pressure that's behind it that makes it perform. So 6.5 Grendel is effective up to 800 yards and has a drop rate of -20 at 400 yards. The next, I do not have the 6mm arc. Looks very similar to the 224 Valkyrie. I'd like to do a video sometime when I have both rounds and both guns built. and compare the two side by side. They are a little bit different, but relatively similar compared to the rest of these. The 6mm arc and the 224 Valkyrie have over 1,000 yards of effective range, and they both 22 inches of drop at 400 yards. The 6mm arc, you can usually get about a 100 grain bullet average, and the 224 Valkyrie is about a 75 grain bullet average. So a little heavier hitting on the 6mm arc, but it does drop just a little bit quicker. Again, I'd like to compare the two side by side. These three, we got the 350 Legend, the 450 Bushmaster, and the 458 SOCOM. If you're looking at these three bullets, you're not so much interested in the effective range. You're probably more interested in that foot-pounds. The 350 Legend, neat round that just came out not too long ago. A lot of people aren't quite familiar with it yet, but I strongly suggest checking it out, especially if you're living in one of the eastern states that's shotgun only. For generations, these shotgun only areas just opened up to allowing a straight walled rifle cartridge. So suddenly people are able to hunt with a semi-automatic rifle in shotgun only areas. And these shoot a 3-inch group at 300 yards if you know what you're doing. They're a great round. They do drop 54 inches at 400 yards. Not too bad for the size of it. So you're looking at foot-pounds of energy, 1,800 foot-pounds of energy. The 450 Bushmaster, 2,200 foot-pounds of energy. Again, a straight walled cartridge, so it's available. You can hunt with it in some areas. A little bit harder to find. 350 Legend seems to be popular enough that it's pretty easy to find. And then the 458 SOCOM. This is just a devastating round. It has a little more recoil, but I don't mind. I love it. Heavy hitter. 2,000 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle, but it has 103 inches of drop at 400 yards. This generally is up to a 450 grain bullet. I've seen them a little bit larger, but all pretty neat, all pretty unique in their own way. If you want to check out my website, freedomtacticalfirearms.net, and kind of go through some of the stuff. We do some neat stuff on there, and we have just giveaways and contests and stuff on the website. Thank you.